Someone rigged it with explosives, and one of my officers was on the scene when it went up, and she's lucky to be alive.
Well, what's that got to do with Connor?
Connor was renting the caravan. I don't think he's bombing things for fun.
But that stuff makes him angry.
What stuff?
Environmental stuff.
A body's been found at Maywick. It's Connor.
You failed, my boy! Get out of my house.
The fatal injury was a blow to the back of the skull. I think he was held somewhere, and at some point Brid was with him.
Tortured.
Over a couple of days.
Oh my God.
Martin had something to do with it. He's been acting really weird. And he's hiding something.
Donnie told me what happened last night.
Did he?
I told her what happened.
You couldn't just make something up. I have to go back to work.
Tosh, we've identified the body. William Arthur Rogers.
Townsfolk want you to protect them, but you'll never be their friend. One day, you might have to shoot them down.
That's Lloyd Anderson.
No, that's Walter Edwards. He must have changed his name.
Who are you? Why are you living under a false identity, Lloyd? I know that your real name is Walter Edwards. I know that you come from the same part of Texas as William Rogers. I know that you were in high school together. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong at any point.
You know, Paris, I always knew that someday somebody would come knocking at my door. And I'm very glad it was you. Walter Edwards is my birth name, named after my grandfather. I changed it when I left the U.S.
You must have had a very good reason for doing that.
Oh, yeah, the best reason. To save my life. When I was 17, I used to sell $10 bags of grass and cornered my block to make ends meet. One day, I took an expensive watch in lieu of cash from a guy called Carl Gordon's, someone from the neighborhood. Anyway, unknown to me, the watch belonged to the victim of a murder robbery, an off-duty police officer. Anonymous call was made, directed the police straight to my house. They found the watch, put out an arrest warrant. When I heard this, I took off with nothing but a shirt on my back. What you have to understand is, in Texas, if found guilty of killing a cop, it's the death penalty, no questions asked.
Okay. Stand up. Lloyd Anderson, I'm arresting you in connection to the murder of William Rogers. You're not obliged to say anything, but anything you do say will be noted and may be used in evidence.
Hello? Who's there? Gavin! Is that you? Wally! Okay, whoever you are, I'm calling the police.
You look like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, Jimmy. Are you sure you're okay?
3 people are dead, and I'm sorry. I can't. I'm not able to just shake that off.
Connor's death is not your fault. You know that.
If we just found him a wee bit earlier, I think it'd be a bit different.
Why do you do the job? If it causes you this much pain.
Look, come on. I mean, I could say the same thing about you and your job and how much you care.
No, I'm sorry, it's different. You know it is. I don't blame myself for what happened. I was thinking about you. What you remind me of. The old sin eaters. In Ireland, at a funeral, a sin eater would come and he would consume a meal in order to absorb the sins of the dead. That's you. You carry with you all the terrible things that people do, as if you can absolve them. But you can't. I mean, that's gotta take a toll on a person, Jimmy. And I imagine on the people around you. I don't know if I want that in my life.
Okay. I understand. If that's how you feel.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Sorry, slept in.
Oh, don't be daft. You need the rest.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, how is she?
Oh, she slept like a baby, didn't you? Yes, you did. Maybe we could go for a walk later. You know, just the 3 of us.
Oh, I'd love to, but I should get back to work.
Tosh, you could have been killed. You need time to process that.
Be okay.
Must have occurred to you how close Louise was to not having a mum, though.
I have thought about nothing else. But you have to trust me. I wouldn't go back if I didn't think I could.
I just don't want you to end up like Jimmy Perez, that's all.
What do you mean?
Well, he gave his life to that job, and then they go and suspend him, and still he comes back because it's all he's got.
You've lost me. What has this got to do with us?
I don't want the job to be the most important thing in your life.
But that is not going to happen.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Bye, bye. Bye, bye. Say hi to Caroline for me.
She's just someone to talk to, Tosh.
You can talk to me.
But you're not here, are you? Sorry, I didn't mean it to come out like that. Like, to be honest, I think she's more interested in you than me. I mean, either that or she wants to be a detective.
You're right.
Right, listen up, everybody. Lloyd has been lying to us from the get-go. Billy, get his DNA sample into the database as soon as possible. I want to know if it matches any found in Ronan Kirk. And then we're going to need a search warrant for his place and find out if he's got any links to environmental groups.
Will do. Take a look at this. There was a break-in at the Morrow warehouse last night. June Morrow was pretty shaken up.
All that was taken was fertilizer. What? So the explosives that were stored in Connor's caravan are gone to... Does this break-in mean that we've got another bomb maker and another homemade bomb? Is that possible?
More than possible. I got the images of the fragments for the caravan explosion.
All right, lay them out on the table and let's see if any of them are relevant, but then find me everything that you can on a case from Texas in 1981. A man called Walter Edwards was accused of murdering a serving police officer. Tosh, need you in the interview room.
Jimmy, I think it's time we brought in a major investigation team from the mainland.
Okay, but it's going to hold us up. I'll be briefing them when I should be working.
Well, I understand that, but we can't manage this on our own. You know that.
Look, I'm getting pretty close to working out how this all adds up, but we could have another homemade bomb out there, so we can't take our foot off the gas.
Then don't. Get someone else to brief them. You're getting help whether you want it or not.
Okay.
Interview with Lloyd Anderson. DS McIntosh present with...
D.I. Perez.
The time is 9:15.
Just for the record, what is your real name?
Walter Edwards.
How long have you been living in Shetland?
About 15 years.
And how did you end up here in the first place?
You know the answer to that, I told you.
For the tape.
I'm wanted for a crime in the United States. I was given a watch that was linked to a murder. I was framed.
And William Rogers? Any idea how he turned up in Shetland?
No. All I can tell you is that about a month ago I was in the supermarket and I noticed somebody staring at me. But he never approached. Felt like he was wanting me to stay away, as if he had his own secret to keep. I never saw him again until his face appeared on the TV screen. And I knew he was the man you found at Stromness-Vo.
Any idea of the date exactly?
I always do a grocery shop at the end of the month, so it was about the 25th.
So he died a few days after you saw him at the supermarket? Recognize that suitcase?
No.
We found William Rogers inside it. There were also traces of paint. No UV blocker found. Oil-based. Artist's paint.
I don't use oil paint. I use acrylic.
Connor's suicide was staged. We found this drawing of bread nearby. Have you seen that before?
I remember him working on it when he was at my place.
He knew about your past, didn't he? You're the Wolver. In his book, hiding your true identity.
I suspect I am, yeah.
Anybody else know about your past?
No.
How did Connor find out?
I was feeling low, missing my family. I was looking over the old letters I kept. And he saw them. I had no choice but to explain. He believed me and promised never to tell a soul.
He could have told Brid.
And if he did, that would have given you a motive to kill all three of them. Connor Cairns, Brid Fleming, and William Rogers.
I loved that boy. I admired him. And I resent the accusation that I would have harmed him. Or anybody else for that matter.
I'm finding it hard to believe that he could kill 3 people.
He's been fooling people his whole life, Tosh. Me included.
Still, it's possible that he's telling the truth.
Look, I hope so. But if he is, it's the first time in 40 years. Anything, Sandy?
Not much from the caravan images, but there's a date on this bit. January the 5th, 1993.
Let's see.
How is that relevant?
It's the day the Brer ran aground.
I remember it like it was yesterday. Brer was carrying 85,000 tons of crude oil when she ran aground, and it would have been a total catastrophe. But the storm that followed emulsified the oil and dispersed it into the sea.
But Connor wasn't even born when this happened, right?
Yeah, but it must have been in his caravan for some reason.
Maybe this is what inspired him. And whoever else he's working with. Find out who suffered because of the slick and what businesses went under, and maybe check and see if there are any links to Rogers or to Lloyd.
Yes, of course.
The SD card Martin gave you. Something's been bothering me about the photographs, so I took another look at them.
Has anyone been in my room? Some of my stuff's been moved?
Maybe. Maybe when we were cleaning. Why, something gone missing?
No, it's fine. Sorry. Sorry for bothering you.
Martin, he says he took these recently, but the timestamps don't match his movements. And more importantly, this bird. It's a jack snipe. It's only found in Shetland in the winter, and it's not the only photo that's out of season.
You sure?
I'm sure. He didn't take these when he said he did.
Sorry. I didn't mean to give you a fright.
It's fine. Did you want something to eat? My mum's gone back to bed, but I can get it for you.
No, it's fine. Wouldn't want to put you out.
It's no bother.
Was it you who cleaned my room?
Me? No?
Your mum?
I'm not sure. I mean, she's been in her room a lot since Connor was found.
But definitely not you.
I just said.
Thing is, I lost something.
Really?
Yeah.
That is weird.
Maybe you took it by mistake.
No. Why would I do that? Do you mind?
What's going on? Why has Lloyd been arrested? He's got nothing to do with this body you found.
Oh, that's not quite true. Because they knew each other. Were you aware of that?
Oh, no. No,
Has Lloyd had any visitors here recently?
Oh, I can't say. I've been spending a lot of time with my mother's. She's not keeping the best of health.
How much do you know about Lloyd's past?
In Canada, you mean?
No, in Texas.
What are you talking about?
Lloyd Anderson isn't his real name. His name's Walter Edwards, and we're investigating a crime he was accused of 40 years ago.
What crime?
Murder-robbery. And apparently Connor knew about it. Did you?
Lloyd wouldn't hurt anyone, and if he was accused of a crime, it has to be a mistake.
You didn't ask him a question. All these years together, and he never mentioned that once.
I want to see him.
Well, you can. Best I can do is I can organize a phone call, and that'll be recorded.
You're treating him like he's already guilty.
No, I'm treating him like he's a suspect in a murder. Is this what he is?
Walter Edwards is on the FBI's most wanted list. His file is still open. That's everything I've got so far.
Because of an anonymous phone call?
Well, there is the watch, and he did run.
Whether he's innocent or not is beside the point. The fact is, we have not been able to connect William Rogers to anyone on Shetland apart from him. I mean, he's a wanted man with a secret he needed to keep at any cost. Now, if Rogers recognised him, then that's your motive right there. And if Brid and Connor knew as well, then Lloyd could have killed them to protect himself.
It's possible. It doesn't explain the explosives.
It does if he's linked to eco-terrorism. Connor was radicalised by someone.
Do you want me to contact the FBI and tell them we have him in custody?
No, not yet. Let's just question him a bit further. Is that okay? Because we can't afford to lose him yet. He could break this case for us.
Okay, but I can't give you much time.
Have you ever seen a suitcase like this in the house?
No. No, I haven't.
Hang on, can you just move that rug?
How's Allison? Can I speak with her?
Sure. As soon as you give me the combination to the safe that we found in your bedroom.
040505.
Is that a significant date?
It is to me. It's the day I met Allison.
Thanks.
Another identity. He was ready to run at any moment.
Yeah, it looks that way. It's a letter from his sister.
Carl Gordon's.
Is that the guy he says framed him? Okay, see if you can find out what happened to him. Did you know about this safe?
No.
Do you think he was planning to leave soon?
I have no idea what he was planning to do.
This isn't looking good. If you do know anything, now would be the time to tell me.
I didn't know about his past. But I do know that man. And I told you, he isn't capable of hurting another human soul. And physically, he isn't able. He has a heart condition.
Well, you know I'm going to check that.
Well, you do that. And there's something else you should know. We spend every evening together, so if he was out murdering people, I would have noticed.
Who said they were killed in the evening?
Well, when Brid went missing, he was with me, and I will swear to that.
Oh, I've got a present for you, Jimmy. Rope fibres, but not any old rope. Looks industrial. We'll get it checked out.
Okay. Thanks, Cora.
They've also found cotton fibres, but they're not from either Connor or Brid's clothing. And I've got the results of the blood we found. I'll let you know if the DNA isn't Connor or Brid's.
Okay, just send me whatever you get as soon as you get it. All right, thanks. Can you tell me everything you know about Lloyd Anderson?
Seems a bit late for these questions.
I know you feel like I've let you down. And I understand. But I'm still your best chance to find out what happened to Connor.
Are you? Really?
I take it you don't want anybody else to get hurt.
No, of course not.
Okay. Then talk to me. Did Connor ever talk about Lloyd Anderson?
He loved going there for his lessons. They seemed to have a lot in common.
Did they ever discuss environmentalism?
Why are you so determined to find Connor guilty of something?
No, I'm not. But the fact is that he may have been involved with people who had extreme views about this.
Like Lloyd.
Perhaps. Rachel, Lloyd's not who he says he is. And we have found a connection between him and William Rogers that Connor knew about.
What connection? What do you mean?
I can't say any more about it at the moment, but we are questioning Lloyd. So anything that you can remember will be very helpful.
He sat opposite me, and he told me that the pain I was feeling was the price of love. I mean, what kind of monster would do that?
Rachel, we haven't got any evidence that links Lloyd with any of the crime scenes, apart from the abandoned car.
Well, that's enough, isn't it?
To get a conviction, they'll need some physical evidence that links him to the victims.
There's somebody else that I need to ask you about. Is Martin here just now?
No, he went into Lerwick. He said he wanted to take some photographs of the waterfront.
I know you felt that he was close to Brid, but how did you get on with Connor?
Fine, I think.
Did you ever sense any tension between the two of them?
No, I can't say I did. No, they even went on photography trips together.
So it wasn't just Brid that he was interested in then?
No, I guess not.
Okay.
Mr. Perez, you were asking about Martin. You need to have a look at the photos I found on his SD card.
I've seen his photographs.
Not these ones you've not.
That's Stenick Terminal. That's the offices of the Harbour Authority.
So Martin wasn't just interested in wildlife then, was he?
And there's Brid.
That's William Rogers.
And Lloyd.
Timestamp on that one is 2:37, 25th of August.
Well, that would certainly tie in with what Lloyd told us about their meeting.
This does not look good for Martin.
I just wish I'd went with my instincts on that guy. Just the way he joined in the search, the way he got involved with Brid, like he put himself right at the centre of the case because he needed to know what everybody was thinking.
Do you think he's our man?
I think he's hiding something. Martin, do you mind coming down the station to answer a few questions for me?
About what?
Your photographs.
This isn't a good time, sorry.
Okay, well, we can do the interview here if you like. But considering what we're going to be talking about, I thought you'd prefer somewhere more private. It's your call.
What are we going to be talking about, exactly?
Your interest in Stenwick Oil Terminal for a start, and then Brid Fleming and William Rogers. You want to take a seat?
There's no need. My name isn't Martin Atina. I'm D.I. Calvin Walker. I'm part of a counter-terrorism unit who've been monitoring a potential threat here on Shetland. You can verify that with specialist crime. I'm sorry for keeping you in the dark. I'm aware that after the explosion, you specifically asked if there are any red flags on Shetland. I wanted to tell you then, but it was felt it would have compromised the operation.
Okay. Well, do you want to enlighten us now?
We're close to uncovering a cell of eco-terrorists, which in turn could lead us to other more extreme groups. I'm not authorized to give you any more information at the moment.
Well, you better get yourself authorized, D.I. Walker. I've got 3 dead bodies on my hands, and a very strong possibility that there's another bomb being made as we speak.
Okay. I'll make some calls. I'm to stay here until we're sure the threat's been nullified. The CTU's flying in and have requested a tactical firearms unit, but I'm still gonna need your help.
Okay. Then we're gonna need to know everything you know.
William Rogers was being monitored because of his presence online. He'd been advocating taking drastic action against climate change, whatever the cost, trying to get kindred spirits to take a harder line.
When you say a harder line, what do you mean?
Arson attacks, even bombings. He'd been working with an environmental consultancy analysing the effects of the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. And horrified with the damage he saw, he decided it was time to do something about it. We believe he was either trying to set up a cell here or advise on one that already existed.
Why do you think Connor Cairns was involved?
From online chatter. That's why I was at Nos View.
And who else was suspected of being involved with Rogers?
Britt Fleming. Not sure about the others. Been very clever in how they communicate. No text, email, or phone. But you have to understand, Rogers would have been telling Connor and Britt that we were at the tipping point, that they had to be willing to do anything to get people to listen. But Connor believed him, and Britt was so in love with Connor, she went with it.
So why was William Rogers killed?
That I don't know. Maybe someone felt he was an informer, or was setting them up.
I don't see a group of climate activists killing someone.
Well, they're not climate activists. They're not blocking roads, chaining themselves to railings. Rogers was taking this to a new level.
Well, you were watching him. Who else was he in contact with?
Nobody, as far as we know. Don't know where he was staying. He travelled on foot. He was last seen on August 25th. Presume he died on that day or very soon afterward, which tallies with your forensic report.
I still don't understand. Why would they turn on each other like this?
I think the only person that knows the answer to that is the person who killed him. There's someone else pulling the strings here. Danny Cairns. I think we should talk to him, because it's possible he knows more about his son than he realizes.
What's Martin doing here?
He's counter-terror. He's been surveilling a group of environmentalists here in Shetland.
Is that why he was at Nos View? Was he spying on my son?
After you.
This won't take long. How long have you worked at the Stenwick Oil Terminal?
6 months.
Connor show any interest in your job?
The opposite. I said I'd put a word in for him, but he wasn't keen.
Why was that?
The environment, I guess. Said he'd rather work in the slaughterhouse because that's what it is. A place that will kill everyone eventually.
You ever asked for information about the terminal security?
No. Connor wasn't some extremist. He wasn't going to do anything stupid.
Danny. Something's bothering you. Tell me what it is.
He felt the island's council should never have let the oil companies get a foothold on Shetland, but plenty of people feel that way these days, don't they?
You need to tell Stenwick Terminal to step up their security.
Yeah, we already have.
Okay.
Looks like they've got some sort of tracking system set up. God, it's all very high tech.
I'd put your name on that cheese roll in the fridge if I was you.
Okay, the CTU don't know how the cell were communicating with one another. Any ideas?
Maybe they have a place where they meet up and just talk. Well, they'd probably get caught on CCTV, but it'd have to be somewhere quiet. Or a tourist attraction.
Scalloway Castle?
Yeah, but if they went there too often, they'd get noticed.
So then what if it was somewhere where they had a reason for being there?
Yeah, that's good.
The library?
Yeah, Connor went there most days. People couldn't believe how fast he read. Maybe that's because he wasn't reading. Could be that was just an excuse.
Murray? When Connor came to the library, did he always come alone? He didn't meet up with any other people?
Not specifically.
Can I see a record of all of the books that Connor took out? And also the ones that he didn't return?
Sure.
And a list of all of the people who took out those books directly before or after him?
Okay. It was mostly the local history section he was in. And you'll see that on a lot of occasions he was the only one that took that book out.
Well, I mean, I suppose it's possible that he could have taken out books without telling you.
Why would he do that?
So that no one would know who took it out after him.
This one's got a lot of words circled in it.
Okay. Let's check every book in this section for words or letters that are circled. Could you give us a hand?
Here are some. Meet. And then a page later, at is circled. And then later on, a picture of Shetland S07E05 circled.
Can I see that? Is this on the list?
No, it's an old tourist guide. It's hardly ever taken out.
Okay, thanks, Murray.
Shetland S04.
Connor arranged to meet someone there, and this is how he did it. Look, here's another one. Where is Bill?
Bill being William Rogers.
Murray, we're going to need copies of your CCTV from the week before Connor Cairns went missing and the week after.
No?
Aye, no. Just send them over to the station as soon as you can.
I can't. I deleted the CCTV database. I only meant to delete the morning Connor and I had a coffee. But I panicked and I deleted it all. Really sorry.
Okay, then we're going to need access to your system so that we can send somebody over to undelete it.
I'm not sure that's even possible.
Just in there, thanks. They got anything new? If they do, they're not telling me. Sandy, how are you getting on with that Brer list?
Well, it's a long list, and I've missed a few, no doubt. But I went for people who claimed compensation and then looked at businesses that folded in the months after.
Anybody jump out?
The Flett family. They'd fished off those waters for generations. They lost everything when they couldn't fish and people stopped buying their Shetland produce.
Is that Ali Flett?
It's his father and his uncle.
Okay, well, let's talk to them.
Aye. When the Brer ran aground, that was the end of our family business for a good few years.
But you got back on your feet. We scraped enough money together for one boat so we could keep the family business going.
You must have been pretty young when the Brer ran aground.
He was just a kid.
But you remember it well.
Aye, I do. And we would have survived the oil, but we couldn't survive the journalists telling people not to eat our shellfish. Why are you so interested in our family history?
Connor was interested in the Brer disaster, and we're trying to find out why. What kind of rope do you use for your muscle lines?
Coconut fibre. But you can use any old rope.
Cora, any chance you can take another look at that rope we found up at Ronan Kirk? I need to know exactly what it's made of.
Hey, listen, did you manage to find Greg Flett or his brother on the CCTV footage from the library?
Sorry, they haven't managed to recover the deleted files. They're corrupted. I did find another message in the tourist guide, though. Tell CA the same place. Just wondering what CA means.
Initials? Callum Adams? Kathy Armstrong?
The list could be endless.
Caroline. Caroline Manny.
I don't think I know her.
No, but I do. She's Donnie's ex. I think she's been trying to get information from Donnie about the case.
Allison, I'm so sorry. I always knew there was a chance that this would happen at some point, but I don't want you getting involved.
I am involved.
And for that, I'm truly sorry. Just know this. I didn't do it. I didn't kill the cop in Texas, and I didn't kill Bill Rogers.
You don't have to tell me. I know that. Lloyd, don't worry. I'm going to get a lawyer, the best lawyer I can find, and we will stop this. They are not sending you back, do you hear? You'll be coming home to me. To me.
I hear Lloyd Anderson has a link to William Rogers. I'd like to interview him.
We've got no evidence to link Lloyd Anderson with what Rogers was planning.
Maybe you just haven't looked hard enough. Can you tell me what your relationship with William Rogers was?
He was someone I was at high school with back in the States.
And he came here to visit you?
No.
Do you have any contact with him when he was on Shetland?
No.
Or before that? Have you ever communicated with him online?
I hadn't seen Bill since high school graduation until I spotted him in a supermarket in Lourik.
And you spoke to him?
No, and as I told D.I. Perez, he didn't speak to me either.
It's quite a coincidence you both happened to be on Shetland at the same time.
I found life is full of coincidences.
Do you have anything to do with his death or know who did?
No, and I don't know what Connor got himself involved in either. Why would I bring attention to myself by getting involved in whatever they were planning? I was happy here with Allison. I took one day at a time. I was thankful for my freedom. Why would I jeopardize that? I don't know who killed Connor and Brad. I just wish they were still alive.
You believe him?
Did he come up in any of your searches for online eco groups?
No. That might mean he's just smarter than the others.
So you've got nothing to link him to these deaths apart from William Rogers? He stays here until I'm done with my investigation.
Caroline's a cleaner at Stenick Terminal. Night shift mostly. Do you want me to pick her up?
No. I'll do it.
You okay?
Let's go.
Anything more than a 3-hour stretch? Definitely.
What about a lie?
I've no idea what you're talking about. Tosh.
Caroline Manny. I'm arresting you under the terms of Section 41 of the Terrorism Act 2000. You do not have to say anything, but anything you do say will be noted and may be used in evidence. Would you come with me, please?
Are you serious?
Tosh, what's going on?
I'll talk to you later. Would you stand up, please?
This is crazy. I haven't done anything.
You can leave the coffee there.
Hands behind your back, please.
Do you recognise this?
No. What is it?
It's a tourist guide from the library.
So?
It's been used by certain people to send and receive messages.
I really have no idea what you're talking about.
Is this you? Tell C.A. Caroline?
I'm not following.
We're having it checked for fingerprints and DNA, so if you've written in it or read it, then we'll be able to tell. Does the name William Rogers mean anything to you?
No.
Connor Cairns?
I know who you mean.
But you've never met him or spoke to him?
No.
Connor was part of a group of environmentalists who are planning an attack in Shetland. We weren't aware of that.
Why would I be?
The thing is, Caroline, you seemed very interested in Connor's disappearance considering you didn't know him.
Most people were.
You even asked Donnie about it.
I don't think I did.
What exactly is your interest in Donnie then?
Britt Fleming. Did you know her?
You mean the girl that was found dead? No.
I think you did. I think you knew both of them. And I think that message is about you.
Why would they want to talk to me?
Because you work at Stenwick Terminal.
How long have you been there?
About 6 months.
As a cleaner?
You take what you can get these days. Plus, it pays okay.
So you didn't apply just to get information about the place then?
I needed a job.
You don't have a problem working for the oil industry then?
It's not ideal. I'd rather we use natural energy, wind and sea, but I have to pay the bills.
I suppose we all have our excuses for doing nothing, don't we?
Who said I was doing nothing? I do my bit.
You know anything about the theft of fertilizer from Morrow Agricultural last night?
No. No, I don't. Last night?
We think it might be used in an attack at Stenwick.
I had nothing to do with that. Nothing.
Ah, God, have we jumped the gun here?
No. She's lying. She's involved. I know she is.
Sandy, check that list of families caught up in the Brer disaster again and see if Caroline's linked.
Of course. I've got another name that might be of interest. Jamie Nery's father, Paul Nery, he had a wildlife tours business that suffered. Might be worth talking to him too.
Can we come in for a minute?
Aye, sure.
You know, this might seem like a daft question, but what do you remember of the Brer disaster?
The Brer? I remember seeing it on the news. I was quite young at the time. Some folk were quite worked up about it back then.
Your family business was wildlife tours, wasn't it?
Hmm?
That must have been a disaster for your dad.
I think people tend to exaggerate the effect it had. Could have been a lot worse. I mean, the Brer was carrying twice as much crude oil as the Exxon Valdez. We survived.
How did your dad take it?
I remember he made us volunteer at the rescue centre. Must have cleaned hundreds of seabirds and seals. Still, lots of new safety procedures. Wouldn't happen again, thankfully.
Did Connor ever talk to you about it?
I doubt Connor would even have heard of it.
How's the Wolver going?
Yeah, it's selling really well, locally. Thinking about doing another print run. Deserves to be seen by as many people as possible. You know, if it's the Brer you're interested in, the best person to talk to might be Greg Flett. It's him that I feel most sorry for.
Yeah, they lost their boats.
Aye. They had to really fight for their compensation. It devastated that family. Greg's never forgiven or forgotten. He detests the oil companies.
What we do with Lloyd Anderson? We either charge him in connection with Connor's death, or I pass him to the Home Office.
And then what?
He'll be sent home, most probably.
I thought if you were facing the death penalty that you couldn't be extradited back to the US.
The Home Office will seek assurances he won't face execution. But I suspect if the Americans want him, they'll get him.
Then I need more time.
I'll sit on it as long as I can, Jimmy, but, you know, I have standard protocols I have to follow. But it's really not your problem.
Well, there must be something we can do.
Such as? I'm sorry, but we have no control over what happens to him after he leaves this station.
There's nothing on Caroline Manny or her family linking them to the Brer or any environmental groups. But we got the results on the rope from Ronan Kirk. It's coconut fibre. Same as the Flett muscle lines.
If one of the Flett brothers is involved in this, then it's got to be Greg.
I can't get a hold of Greg. He's not answering on his home or his mobile number.
Okay, keep trying. We'll bring him in tonight and then pass this over to CTU.
The Flett boat was spotted moving up the coast towards the Mora Voyager. It's an oil tanker waiting to offload at Stenik. I've tried to contact it by radio, but he isn't answering.
Greg, is that Ali on that boat? Must be. I came down and the boat was halfway up the Vaux. I'm trying to get hold of him, but he's no picking up.
Hi.
Tosh, it's Ali on the boat. Tell the Coast Guard to intercept him immediately, but warn them that there might be explosives on board. Tell Martin and the CTU I'm going to head to the terminal.
I don't think there's time. The boat entered the maritime prohibited zone 5 minutes ago.
Oh, shit.
I've notified the CTU of a potential explosive attack on the tanker. They're en route to Stenwick Terminal now.
Ali, it's Jimmy Perez. If you're thinking of doing anything stupid, then please just think it through. I know why you're doing this, but it's not the way.
Heading to Stenwick Terminal.
Okay, so what do we know?
Just that Ali Flett is entering the protected area, heading towards a tanker.
Does he have explosives?
We're not sure. We do know that rope from his boat was found at Ronan Kirk, which puts him in the frame for Connor and Brad's murder.
And that means he could be capable of anything. He's just stopped. He's turning around.
Where's the explosives? What explosives?
Don't you fucking lie to me. Is there a bomb?
There's no explosives on this boat, Perez. Feel free to look.
The final episode of Shetland here next Wednesday at 9. Become entwined in another dark and twisting thriller set in Bolton. A sinister app ensnares local teens with devastating consequences. Red Rose. Watch now on iPlayer.